Okay, I'm just popping in real quick here at the very beginning of my video. I think is where this is going to occur to say I'm so sorry, but I realized too late that I did my filming of this while I was in my car, and I forgot to switch my uh, phone so that it was sideways, so that the video would film like at a normal angle. Not that this lighting's at all normal. So anyway, I'm just saying this to explain why the beginning of this video is very strangely edited and filmed and everything. But it gets normal towards the end when I finally talk about the books, and you know, it'll be different and fun. So enjoy the ride. Literally. We're going on a ride.
Hello. So I'm coming to you today from a different location than usual. I am filming in my car, clearly, trying not to get anybody's house in the picture. Anyway, so today I'm on an exciting adventure. I've decided to go and check out some local little free libraries. I recently found out that there's both an app and an online website that you can go to and actually find out the location of all the little free libraries near you, which I think is amazing. So I know of one of mine in my neighborhood, but it turns out there's over 20 some odd little free libraries in my area, which is not a very large area. So I'm excited to go and look. I've brought my little bag of books there with some that I'm going to exchange out that I know if I brought to a used bookstore, they'd probably give me nothing for. So anyway, I thought I might as well give these books for free, see what they have here for me. And this is as close as I'm coming to filming in public. So I'm not going to film at the little free bookstores, but I will try and take a picture of them because I love seeing how they all look so different. All right, so I'm going to go because I'm filming this on my phone and who knows how much storage space this is going to take up. Okay, so here we are. We're at location 2. And this is a little free library that I normally go to whenever I happen to decide to think about it. It's really close in my neighborhood, and I thought it was the only one in my neighborhood. There's actually like 3 or 4 that are right in my neighborhood. Anyway, this one usually has a okay selection. The last one was actually kind of a bust. I realized as I was walking close to it that it was full of children's books, and it was, but I left a family book of blessings. I thought that would be good. As well as There's No Such Thing as a Good Job. I think that's what it's called. I figured something for the parents to read, and it's, appropriate. There's nothing inappropriate in the book. It's mostly magical realism. So we're going to try this one. I'm going to bring a few more books over and see if I find anything in this one. This one's always kind of weird. There's usually a decent mix between adult and children's books, but there's also usually baby food in it, like unopened baby food, but it's not a temperature regulated little free library. So I don't know how the baby food works. And I always find that sketchy and want to throw it out, but I don't want to do anything with it. So we'll see what's in it today. I'll take a picture of the outside. Maybe I'll actually take a picture of the inside of this one too, so you can kind of see a little collection of what's in there. Okay, I had much better luck with that one. They actually had a really good selection in there today and no baby food. So there you go. They had quite a bit of fantasy, including some Raymond Feist. So I thought that was pretty exciting. And I found 3 books. I'll go over those at what I found at the end. Hopefully I'll remember which little free library I got them from. And I left a religious book, like a commentary on a book in the Bible. I feel like there's a really bad explanation of what it is, but it's a really good book. I left that. I left Don't Just Sit There, Move, or something like that. It's a book about moving more. And I also left North and South. I actually thought it was a different Penguin classic, but North and South I was planning on unhauling. I read it and thought it was okay. So I thought that was a nice little mix. So that was those. That was that book one. Really good. Probably the best selection that I've seen in a bit. Now I'm going to go on to, there's one last one that's kind of near where I am, and then I've got to go meet a friend for breakfast. So I don't want to be late to that. So let me hurry along. Okay, last stop for today, as far as I know. So this one's really interesting. It's located like literally in the parking lot of a church, so kind of weird that I'm talking on my phone and I'm sure somebody's watching me. But that's cool that they have one here. So I'm expecting in this one to find quite a few religious texts. That's fine because I brought some with me, so hopefully I'll have ones that they'll enjoy and I'll find something of interest. If not, at least I know my books are going to a good place, because certainly if I took them to used bookstore, they usually don't even take them because I guess that section's usually pretty full. Anyway, I guess let's go check it out and see what they have. Okay, so here we are. I'm at this location. I have one more that I might be able to go to after this. I wasn't even expecting to go to this one, but I had a little bit of time. But this one is in such a weird location and it blends in so well. I had a hard time finding it. I literally kind of drove in circles and I'm kind of parked in this weird place. So let me jump out, see what they've got, take a picture, and yeah, get back in my car before this lady hits me. Last one had some really good things in there. It had a book by Angela Carter, who I've been wanting to read, but there was quite a bit of duct tape on it, and the book itself had no description of what it was about. So, and I didn't want to take too many books, but there were probably like 4 or 5 books that I was interested in that one. I just took a couple and I left a couple that seemed based on the neighborhood and what was in there that might fit their reading style. Like it seemed like a family area. There were quite a few Catholics, so I left some Catholic books I had there. And I also left the Knife of Never Letting Go, because there were some like fantasy and action books and stuff, and that one's like the fastest paced book I've ever read, so I figured that whoever was putting those in might like that. Okay guys, so this might be it. So this last one is actually outside of middle school, and there's no way that I am driving up to a middle school in the middle of the day where I don't have a child just to go to their free little library. No. I'm gonna see if I can find one more that's like in this area where I'm currently at, and if not, that'll probably just be it for the day. Okay, I'm doing a calculated move here. So my last stop for sure today is going to be the original free library, which is my local library. And I'll explain it better and get the actual name for it. But my local library actually has obviously free lending, but they have a slightly separate free program that they do, and it's just at this one library near me, at least as far as I've seen. But so it's not even the whole library system, because I think they're trying out this program. So I'll explain it later when I get home, because I need to figure out what they call it and how exactly it works so I can explain it better to you. But it's pretty cool, and it's the equivalent of stopping by a little free library, because it is a smaller portion than their actual lending books. Anyway, I'll try and take a picture of this part as well. Okay, so I'm back home from my trip out earlier today, and I'm just gonna have to apologize. There's gonna be weird shadows in this video because, as you can tell looking out my window, it is now dark outside. So I had a lot of fun today going to the different little free libraries. And you may be wondering, Nicole, I thought you were doing the Read What You Own challenge. Yeah, I am, but I didn't think about this ahead of time, and I already had planned to do this, but I'm realizing it's going to kind of work out in the wash, because I'm really just exchanging books. So I'm not really taking any books off my shelf, so it doesn't count as a true unhaul, but I'm not adding to my collection because I didn't really keep track, but I'm pretty sure I actually gave away more books than I kept. I'm just going to see it as I swapped one for one because I know for a fact that I got fewer books back than I gave. But for now, let's get on to this exciting part, which is sharing what I got. And I got some great things. I will go in the order that I got them from, so maybe I'll put the picture in again so that you know which library I'm talking about. I think I mentioned that the first library I went to was all children's books, so I just left 3 books there that I thought would be appropriate for parents, and that might give them a little break and a little something for them to look forward to in their little free library. The second one that I went to was my normal little free library, and I got 3 different books from my normal little free library, and one of them was actually there the last time I looked in it, which was a few weeks ago, maybe even a month ago. And that was the book Hawaii by James Michener.
I have not read a book by James Michener before. I went back and forth about this and left it there the last time I was there, like I said a month ago. I had wanted to read Hawaii. I had kind of wanted to read a book by James Michener. I've heard that this is a really good book, that if you're interested at all in Hawaii, that it's a pretty good historical novel about some of the things that were going on in Hawaii. I don't know how true that would be today, but I'm curious. I saw it twice. I was still curious about it when I saw it again. I figure I'll give it a try. If nothing else, I can just take it right back to that little free library or mix it up and take it to a different one. The second book that I got from that little free library is this one, Happy Birthday, Wanda June by Kurt Vonnegut. Earlier this year, I read Slaughterhouse-Five by Kurt Vonnegut with my book club, not my family one, the one that I have with my friends. So I thought, hey, for free, I'll try another one of his. I'm also noticing that this used to be a library book. It's ripped. I wonder if it was removed from the collection. Also, is this a play? I didn't look at it ahead of time, and I think this is a play. Oh, interesting. It is. It's a play. I don't know how I feel about that. Oh boy, this might be going back for sure. Okay, and then this was probably the one that I was most excited about when I saw it because it's something I've been wanting to read. It's on my TBR list, and now I got a copy of it for free. And that is The Sun Also Rises by Ernest Hemingway. I've never read anything by Ernest Hemingway before. Um, I had a friend in college when we were reviewing papers in a class, and he mentioned that he felt like my writing style was like Ernest Hemingway. And he was an amazing writer, like to date, probably the best writing I've ever read. And so I wasn't sure if that comment was like a compliment or an insult kind of thing. I'd like to think, knowing the guy, that it was a compliment and that he was truly just talking about my writing style. Um, I'll let you know what I think after I read Ernest Hemingway. This little free library, I was really surprised. This was the one that I mentioned that was like in the parking lot of a church. I wasn't sure what they would have there. They actually had a really good collection of things. They had really large, like double wide little free library, and half the library was like children's books of various ages, and the other half, only a quarter of it, was full, and that was full of adult books. And I thought it was a really good mix of what you would expect to find outside of church in terms of just, Christian writings, as well as a mix of just various types of fiction and Christmas novels, like Christmas time period novels, novels on winter, so like they kind of had a little theme going on. They had cute little bookmarks there that you could take. They even had a pencil case, like, that you could take pencils out of. I wasn't really sure what that was about, but okay. And I found two really good books there. So one is Oliver Twist. I do have a copy of Oliver Twist in hardback in the Charles Dickens collection version that looks like that. But I love a Norton anthology. Not only do they have good notes, but they also have good commentaries on books. And particularly for Charles Dickens, that's something I don't know if I'd want to get all of Norton anthologies of his works, but I was excited to see one copy, and this copy is in, sorry, there's a glare. This copy is in really nice condition. The next book I got is Five Little Peppers by Margaret Sidney. I knew nothing about this book. I just thought it sounded really cute and liked the idea of it, so I picked it up. I just looked it up. Five Little Peppers is apparently a classic middle grade, originally published in 1890. So I think that's kind of neat. I'm generally not a middle grade reader, but I like the idea of a classic middle grade read. All right. And then the last technical little free library that I went to was probably the one that I liked the most. It was the hardest to find. Um, but when I opened it, like, it just had a ton of little gems, and I had trouble deciding what I wanted to take. And I didn't want to take everything, and I definitely didn't want to take more than I put in, and I didn't. I think I put in 4 or 5 books, and I only took three. Um, I got Possessing the Secret of Joy by Alice Walker. I was very curious when I saw this because I own The Color Purple. I really enjoy that movie. I mean, it's really sad and heartbreaking, but there's reasons to love the movie. And I have the book, like I said, The Color Purple. I plan on reading that. And I've never really looked up any of the other works by Alice Walker. So when I saw this book in there, I was like, oh, wow. Okay, there's another book of hers looking me in the face. Let's give it a try. So another book that I found there was by Aldous Huxley. Here it is here, very shiny. And this is actually two different books in here. There's The Doors of Perception and Heaven and Hell. So two novellas. This book is pretty, pretty beaten up. So, the plastic parts coming off here. So I could see why they would put it in a little free library as opposed to like try and take it to a used bookstore. You'd get no money for this. So Aldous Huxley, I don't feel like I'm saying his name correctly, his first name correctly, but I can't remember how to say it. Anyway, he also authored the book that I feel like most of us would know, which is Brave New World. I have not read Brave New World, and I have not read or heard about these two books. I am planning on reading Brave New World. I do own it. It's up in the bees on my bookshelf, and I will be adding this to my collection, and it'll be interesting to see how they compare. I feel like you hear about Brave New World all the time. I feel like you hear virtually nothing about anything else he's written. So maybe that's a bad thing. Final book that I got at that little free library is The City in the Middle of the Night. And this book is by Charlie Jane Anders. Now, for the life of me, I can't think of why this title of this book sounds familiar, but it does. A little blurb on the front says that this author is the generation's Le Guin, and I'm assuming they mean Ursula K. Le Guin, which I feel like is high praise because a lot of people like her writing. I've never read it, but I know a lot of people like her writing. So I'm looking forward to seeing what this is about. To me, it kind of gives me another dystopian feel. There were a couple of dystopians in that box, so I think somebody also likes dystopian novels who uses that little free library. And then my final stop, like I mentioned, was to the actual library. They have oh darn, I forgot what she called it. And she told me too. Anyway, I don't remember the name of the program, but I know at least the last I checked, it's just at that branch of the library. And what they have, I took a quick little picture of it, is a little library cart that they just have some books on. And what they do with the books is they put like a little just white piece of tape, just like that, and they just make a tally mark noting that somebody is taking a book from there. Like you still take it up to the counter as if you're checking out a book, but they don't check it out. They don't need your library card for it. They just make a tally in their system saying, oh, yep, somebody took a book off that cart. And then the way it works is you take the book and you keep it as long as you want until you read the book. And then all they ask is that you eventually bring it back. That's it. So, so it's kind of like the little free library on a bigger scale, though I guess the amount of books they have is about the amount that you'd put in a little free library. So I'm kind of surprised they don't just make a little free library outside the library. So I think that's really cool that the library is doing that. And I think it's something that more libraries should do. You won't believe what book I found on there this time. Because like I said, they've always got good books there. They had Agatha Christie, and then there were none. And I've been wanting to try an Agatha Christie, but of course, like in the used bookstore, that kind of stuff, they can be kind of hard to find. If I recall correctly, I think this is the first book in a series. If not, like, oh, well, there we go. And I'm excited that they had it there because now I get to try it. I don't even have to worry about taking it out of the library. I don't have to worry about reading it immediately. And I don't have to look for it in a used bookstore and pay for it or put it on hold or anything like that. So I thought that was a really good find. I'm super excited about that. And then because I couldn't help myself, I just took a normal book out of the library because I don't know, I guess I felt kind of weird just going in there and being like, I'm taking one of the non-library library books. So maybe it also helps them get more people into the library to check books out. I don't know. I'm not trying to understand the system. But here's the book that I found, The Guest Cat. I heard a little bit about this book and wanted to read it, but it's still relatively new to the point where like it's not something that I'm seeing in my used bookstore. And I have to admit, I kind of have a rule. I don't tend to buy novellas. I think books are so expensive at this point on a regular basis that spending the same amount of money that I would spend for a 500-page book on a novella just doesn't seem worth it to me. But it is something that I use the library for. So when I saw this at the library, I wasn't planning on checking anything out. And then I did. So I have this. It's short, it's cute, it's sweet. I know I can read it quickly, so I'm actually going to add it onto my December TBR. But per my rules for a read what you own challenge, when I read this will not count against my TBR because it's just going back to the library and it wasn't mine to begin with. So that was my super exciting day going to little free libraries. I definitely want to do this again, but like I said, I think what I'm going to do this time is instead of taking the books that I want to unhaul, I think the next time I go, I'm going to be taking some of the books on my reader unhaul cart and using those. And hopefully I'll be able to swap them out for books that I will want to put on my bookshelf and not consider unhauling. So that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you enjoyed going around with me in my car because I guess you didn't really see much else. And I'll see you next time. Bye.